Have you ever wondered what can be more dangerous than heart disease, diabetes, or even cancer after the age of 70? It might surprise you, but the answer is loneliness. Many researchers now call loneliness the #1 silent killer in old age, because it doesn't just affect the mind, it damages the body in ways we often don't see right away. Loneliness creeps in quietly like a shadow, and before we know it, it can take away our health, our joy, and even our will to keep moving forward. When you spend day after day without real connection, the heart begins to weaken, the immune system slows down, and the brain starts to lose its sharpness. It's not just about feeling sad, it's about how being isolated actually shortens life, sometimes more than smoking or drinking. And yet, most people don't notice this danger until it has already taken root. After 70, children are busy, friends may be gone, and suddenly silence fills the house. But here's the good news: loneliness is not a destiny we must accept, it is something we can face, and with the right steps, we can bring light back into our later years. Why loneliness is so dangerous? Loneliness is not just an empty feeling, it is a real health risk, and science shows it can be more dangerous than many chronic diseases. When you feel cut off from others, your body reacts as if it is under constant stress, and that stress slowly eats away at your health in ways you may not notice at first. Let's take a closer look at why loneliness is so harmful after the age of 70. First, loneliness puts a heavy burden on the heart. When a person feels alone, stress hormones like cortisol rise, and that makes blood pressure go up. Over time, the heart has to work harder, and arteries can become stiff and inflamed. Studies show that older adults who are lonely face a much higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and heart attacks. It is as if the heart carries not just blood, but also the weight of isolation. Second, loneliness weakens the immune system. The body becomes less able to fight off infections, and wounds may take longer to heal. You might notice that colds, flu, or even small illnesses feel harder to recover from when you are isolated. The reason is simple: the body and mind are deeply connected, and without social support, the body stops defending itself as strongly. Third, loneliness harms the brain. Human connection stimulates the brain, keeps memory sharp, and supports mental clarity. Without those daily conversations, laughs, or moments of care, the brain begins to lose its edge. Many researchers link loneliness to faster cognitive decline, and even to a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease. Think of the brain as a muscle. If you do not exercise it with interaction, it slowly weakens. Fourth, loneliness steals sleep. People who feel lonely often find it hard to fall asleep, or they wake up many times during the night. Poor sleep affects mood, energy, and physical health. Over months and years, the lack of deep rest adds up, and the body feels older than it really is. Sleep is like the repair shop for the body, and loneliness keeps the doors half closed. Fifth, loneliness shortens life itself. One well-known study compared the health impact of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That is a shocking thought, but it shows how powerful social connection really is. Without it, the risk of early death rises sharply. The body is built for connection, and when that connection is missing, life expectancy falls. Beyond the physical damage, loneliness also weighs heavily on emotional well-being. Feeling isolated can lead to sadness, hopelessness, and even depression. Many older adults begin to lose interest in hobbies, meals, or daily routines when they feel nobody cares. The mind whispers, "Why bother?" and slowly the world feels smaller and darker. The truth is, humans are social beings no matter our age. Just as food and water nourish the body, connection nourishes the spirit. Without it, we suffer in silence, and that suffering touches every part of our health. After 70, when the body is already more fragile, loneliness becomes even more dangerous, because it strikes at the exact moment when we need strength the most. But here is something important to remember: loneliness is not a weakness, it is a signal. It is the body and mind saying, "I need connection, I need warmth, I need someone to walk this road with me." When we listen to that signal, we can take steps to heal. Ignoring it, however, allows the damage to grow deeper, both inside the heart and inside the mind. So why is loneliness called the #1 silent killer after 70? Because it hides. Unlike pain in the chest or a fever, loneliness does not always show clear signs. It builds slowly day after day in empty rooms and quiet evenings. By the time we notice its full effect, it may have already harmed the heart, weaken the brain, and stolen precious years. This is why understanding the danger is the first step. When we see loneliness for what it really is, not just sadness but a health threat, we can treat it with the same seriousness we give to blood pressure, diabetes, or any other illness. Connection is medicine, friendship is protection, and love is one of the strongest shields we have against aging. Why people over 70 are so vulnerable to loneliness. After the age of 70, many people discover that life feels quieter, sometimes too quiet. What once felt like a home full of noise, laughter, or daily conversations can suddenly become silent. This silence, while peaceful at first, often turns into loneliness. But why does this happen so often at this stage of life? There are many reasons, and they are both practical and emotional. One major reason is that children grow up and build their own lives. Sons and daughters often move to different cities, sometimes even different countries, and they have busy schedules with work, family, and responsibilities. Of course, they still care about their parents, but phone calls and visits may not happen as often as they used to. For a 70-year-old, those long days between visits can feel endless, and the lack of daily contact creates a deep sense of isolation. Another reason is the loss of friends and peers. At this age, many people experience the passing of close friends, neighbors, or even siblings. The circle of companionship, once full and lively, begins to shrink. Attending more funerals than birthdays can create a painful awareness of mortality, and each loss leaves behind an emptiness that is hard to fill. Without those old friends who understood the shared history, laughter, and memories, life can feel lonelier than ever. Health challenges also play a big role. As the body ages, mobility often decreases, and simple activities like driving, walking long distances, or climbing stairs become harder. This physical limitation means many seniors stay at home more often, and the opportunities to meet others shrink. Even if someone wants to socialize, the fear of falling, the pain in the joints, or the lack of energy can make them hesitate. Slowly, the walls of the home become both a safe space and a prison. Retirement is another factor. For decades, work may have provided structure, purpose, and daily interaction with colleagues. When that ends, so does a major source of social contact. The sudden shift from busy days to long stretches of free time can feel overwhelming. Without a clear plan for how to spend those hours, loneliness can slip in quietly. Work gave identity and community, and its absence can leave a gap that is hard to replace. Technology can also deepen the divide. While younger generations use smartphones, social media, and video calls with ease, many people over 70 find these tools confusing or intimidating. This digital gap makes it harder to stay connected, even when loved ones are only a click away. A missed message, a forgotten password, or the fear of breaking something online can prevent seniors from reaching out. Instead of feeling closer, technology sometimes makes the distance feel even greater. There is also the emotional weight of feeling left behind. Society often values youth, energy, and productivity, while older adults may feel invisible. When they notice fewer invitations, fewer conversations, and fewer chances to contribute, they may begin to believe that they no longer matter. This sense of uselessness feeds loneliness because it is not just about being alone, it is about feeling unneeded. Cultural changes add another layer. In the past, many families lived together across generations, but now it is common for older adults to live apart. Independent living can be positive, but it also means fewer daily connections. A meal shared with others becomes rare, and holidays may be the only time when the house feels full again. Finally, personal loss and grief are powerful triggers of loneliness. Losing a spouse after decades of companionship is one of the hardest experiences in life. The bed feels empty, the chair across the table is no longer filled, and routines that once brought comfort now bring pain. This kind of loneliness goes beyond silence, it touches the soul. All of these reasons combine to make loneliness after 70 very common. It is not just one cause, but many small changes happening at once, slowly pulling people away from connection. The challenge is that these changes often feel natural, like part of aging, so people accept them quietly. But acceptance does not have to mean surrender. Understanding why loneliness increases after 70 helps us see it clearly, not as a personal failure, but as a natural risk that can be addressed. When we know the causes, we can begin to find solutions. And with awareness, families, communities, and older adults themselves can take steps to keep life full of connection, laughter, and meaning. Signs that loneliness is becoming dangerous. Loneliness is a natural feeling and everyone experiences it from time to time. But when loneliness becomes constant, it turns into something more serious. After the age of 70, it is especially important to notice the signs, because the line between simple quietness and harmful isolation can be thin. Knowing these warning signals can help protect both mental and physical health, and it can also open the door to help before things get worse. One of the first signs is a lack of motivation to leave the house. At first, it may feel easier to stay indoors to avoid the effort of getting dressed, or the challenge of walking outside. Over time, however, this choice becomes a habit, and days pass without fresh air or human contact. When the thought of going out feels overwhelming or unnecessary, loneliness may already be taking hold. Another warning sign is having few or no conversations during the day. Talking to others, even small talk, keeps the mind active and the heart connected. If a person goes through entire days without meaningful interaction, they may begin to feel invisible. Silence can be peaceful in short moments, but too much silence builds walls that are hard to break down. Sleep problems are also a common signal. Lonely people often report difficulty falling asleep, or they wake up many times during the night. Poor sleep does not just create tiredness, it also lowers mood, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of depression. When nights are restless and mornings bring little energy, loneliness may be one of the hidden causes. A decline in interest is another clue. Hobbies that once brought joy, such as gardening, reading, or listening to music, suddenly feel uninteresting. Meals may lose their flavor, and even favorite TV shows may no longer hold attention. This loss of passion is not just about aging, it is often a sign that the spirit is weighed down by isolation. Changes in mood can also reveal the impact of loneliness. Constant sadness, irritability, or unexplained tears are signals that the emotional burden has grown heavy. Some people may not call it loneliness, but the symptoms often point to it. When the heart feels empty, emotions find ways to express the pain. Another sign is a growing sense of hopelessness. Thoughts like nothing matters anymore, or life has no meaning, may appear more often. These thoughts are dangerous because they can lead to depression and even a desire to give up on life. Hope is like fuel for the soul, and when it runs low, loneliness is often the thief that has drained the tank. Physical health may also show the warning signs. Frequent illnesses, slower recovery from small wounds, or constant fatigue are all linked to loneliness. The body reflects the state of the mind, and when the mind feels alone, the body struggles to stay strong. Doctors may treat the symptoms, but the root cause can remain hidden if loneliness is not addressed. Another subtle signal is withdrawing from relationships. A person who once enjoyed phone calls, visits, or community events may begin to decline invitations. At first, the reasons may sound practical, like, "I'm too tired," or "the weather is bad." Over time, though, this pattern shows a deeper reluctance to connect. Isolation becomes self-chosen even though it hurts. Some seniors also talk less about the future. When loneliness grows, the future can feel empty, so they may avoid making plans or expressing dreams. They may stop looking forward to birthdays, holidays, or family gatherings. The absence of excitement about what lies ahead is a quiet but powerful sign that loneliness has taken root. Finally, loneliness shows itself in the body language. Shoulders slump, eyes look down, and energy feels low. Even without words, the posture of a lonely person communicates pain. If you see someone sitting in silence for hours, staring out the window, or moving without purpose, you may be witnessing loneliness in its most visible form. Recognizing these signs is the first step. Loneliness is not always easy to admit, because it can feel like weakness or failure. But it is neither. It is a health condition just as real as high blood pressure or diabetes. By paying attention to these warning signals, families, friends, and communities can reach out in time. And for those who notice these signs in themselves, awareness can be the beginning of change, the start of choosing connection over silence. How to cope with loneliness after 70. Loneliness after 70 can feel heavy, but it is not a life sentence. There are many ways to bring light back into daily life, and small steps can make a big difference. Coping with loneliness is not about pretending it does not exist, it is about facing it gently and choosing actions that create connection, joy, and meaning. Let's explore some practical and heartwarming ways to deal with it. Stay connected with family and friends. The simplest yet most powerful step is to reach out. A phone call, even just a few minutes, can brighten the day. If visits are rare, hearing a loved one's voice still brings warmth. Do not wait for others to call first. Sometimes taking the first step is the key. Sharing a memory, asking about their day, or simply saying, "I miss you," builds a bridge that eases the pain of isolation. Join local groups or clubs. Communities often have senior centers, hobby clubs, or walking groups. These are not just activities, they are opportunities to meet people who understand your stage of life. A book club, a choir, or a gardening group can create a sense of belonging. Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, attending regularly makes it easier. Friendships grow from shared routines, and laughter is easier when others are around. Keep the body moving. Exercise is not only for fitness, it is also a powerful way to fight loneliness. A morning walk, gentle yoga, or Tai Chi in the park connects you with both your body and the world outside. Seeing familiar faces on the walking path, greeting neighbors, or joining a senior exercise class all create natural social contact. Movement also boosts mood, reduces stress, and improves sleep, which are all important for emotional health. Consider a pet companion. Animals bring unconditional love. A dog or a cat can change the atmosphere of a home, turning silence into companionship. Feeding them, talking to them, or simply sitting together reduces feelings of emptiness. Pets also create structure because they need care and attention every day. For someone who cannot manage a pet, even visiting an animal shelter or spending time with a neighbor's pet can bring comfort. Volunteer and give back. Helping others is one of the most powerful cures for loneliness. Volunteering at a school, hospital, or charity brings purpose and new connections. When you give your time, you also receive gratitude and warmth. Many older adults discover that helping children with reading, serving food at a community center, or knitting blankets for those in need fills their hearts with joy. Purpose is a strong antidote to isolation. Explore lifelong learning. Learning something new stimulates the brain and creates social opportunities. Many libraries, universities, and community centers offer classes for seniors. Could be painting, music, cooking, or even learning how to use technology. The process of learning brings curiosity back to life, and meeting others in the same class builds friendships. Age does not limit growth, and the joy of learning never expires. Use technology as a bridge. Even if technology feels intimidating, it can be a lifeline. Video calls allow you to see loved ones face to face, even if they live far away. Social media groups, when used carefully, can connect you with others who share your interests. Learning to send photos, join online classes, or even play games online can open new doors. Asking a grandchild or a neighbor to help with technology can also create connection in itself. Create daily routines with meaning. Loneliness often grows in long, empty hours. Filling the day with meaningful routines gives structure and comfort. Starting the morning with a walk, having tea at a set time, calling a friend in the afternoon, or writing in a journal at night makes the day feel purposeful. Simple rituals like watering plants, baking bread, or listening to a favorite song each evening add rhythm and joy. Reconnect with spirituality or faith. For many, faith offers strength and a sense of belonging. Attending services, joining prayer groups, or reading spiritual texts can provide comfort. Even private prayer or meditation creates peace inside. Spiritual communities also offer companionship, and they often welcome seniors warmly. A sense of being part of something greater reduces feelings of being alone. Seek professional support when needed. Sometimes loneliness leads to depression, and professional help becomes important. Talking with a therapist, counselor, or doctor is not a weakness, it is a wise choice. Mental health professionals can provide strategies, support, and care that family may not be able to give. Asking for help shows courage, and it can open the path to healing. Stay creative and expressive. Creative activities like painting, writing, crafting, or playing music allow emotions to flow. Expressing yourself brings relief, and it often leads to connection with others who share similar passions. A poem written and shared, a painting displayed, or a song sung in a group can all spark joy. Creativity does not judge age, it welcomes anyone who wants to try. Celebrate small victories. Combating loneliness is not about sudden big changes, it is about small, steady steps. Saying hello to a neighbor, cooking a meal for a friend, or joining one community event can start a chain of positive experiences. Each small step builds confidence, and soon the circle of connection grows wider. Keep hope alive. Most of all, coping with loneliness requires hope. It means believing that connection is still possible, that new friendships can still bloom, and that joy can still return. Life after 70 still has many gifts to offer, and it is never too late to rediscover them. Every sunrise brings a new chance to reach out, to try, to connect, and to feel alive. Loneliness may feel powerful, but it is not unbeatable. By reaching out, moving the body, opening the heart, and embracing new experiences, life after 70 can still be full of connection and love. The journey starts with one step, and that step can be taken today. Loneliness after 70 is real, but it does not have to control your story. Life is still full of beauty, connection, and meaning, and every day is another chance to find joy. The most important step is to remember that you are not alone, even if it feels that way. There are people who care, people who want to listen, and people who will walk beside you if you reach out. This video is not here to sell you anything, it is simply a message of care, a reminder that your life still matters, and that your presence brings value to the world. We share this because we believe that wisdom grows when it is shared, and healing begins when hearts open to each other. If you have been feeling the weight of loneliness, take one small step today. Call a friend, join a group, or simply smile at someone nearby. Small steps create big changes, and connection often begins in the simplest moments. Do not let silence steal your joy, because your story is still unfolding, and there are still chapters waiting to be written. Now, if this message touched you, I kindly invite you to support this channel. Please subscribe so you will not miss the next video. Please like because it helps others discover this message. And please share because someone else, maybe even someone you know, might be carrying the same silent burden. By sharing, you could be giving them hope. Together, we can build a community where no one feels forgotten, and where every senior knows they still belong. Remember, you are not alone, your voice matters, and your life has purpose. Let's continue this journey side by side, with hope in our hearts, and with light guiding every step.